Alright, so back on the gas-powered power wheels today. This is basically where we left off last time. I got the rear end moved up to basically where I want it, and it's bolted on each side with one bolt for now, and then I just gotta, I'm actually gonna weld on the rear brackets, and then there's one small bracket in the front that's gotta go on. The front end's pretty much ready made. I haven't done nothing to it yet. I'm gonna notch just a little bit here to get my wheels in a little bit further, but other than that, I'm just gonna do a C-clip on the end of them there and grease them up real good and they'll be fine. So it's pretty much ready made. The rear rims are on, but they're just sitting there too. They're just slid on. And once I find a happy spot for them, I'm honestly going to just weld them on too. I ain't going to muss around to try to key them or nothing like that. I'll just weld them. This thing's never going to come apart. And if I ever need another rear end, I'll just put a different rear end in it. It's not a big deal. I get mower parts all the time, so it's no big deal. If we got, blowing up, like, there's another one. There's 3 more out back. There's a bunch around, so. So what we're going to do today though is we're going to cut off the rear end. So I actually scavenged, this is a piece of the rear end of the original mower, and you see it's still got the hitch on it and it's got a nice rear plate. So what I'm actually going to do is actually cut this off back here and then put this back on, and with it on and level, that's the platform I'm going to use for my seat. It should actually end up right about the same level as the original seat height, and I'm going to eventually cut a spot out of here and just have like a board with a pad on top of that for the seat, and then it's pretty much ready made frame. I don't have to do nothing else except for I can just bolt a piece of 2x10 or 1x10 or something up here, whatever I need that's thick enough, put a little padding on it and away I go. And then that way I don't have to rely on the Jeep body at all. Like I say, by the time we're done, it'll just be a decoration, really, the Jeep body. But it'll work. Probably actually the floor will probably actually be a working member of the system, I think. I don't think I'm going to cut it out at all. Maybe support it a little bit, but other than oh well then. Not too bad for the beads for the little 110 Wigger, but it's not too bad. Gets a pretty good penetration. You can see it back through on the back where I welded the axles on. I just bolted it into a hole that was already there. But I went quite a bit higher on the back to make it match the front now that it's got the big tires, and get the clearance in the body that I wanted to make it all look the way I wanted to. So instead of going through the work of drilling and bolting and all that crap, I just crossed. And then same thing with this back piece. I just tacked it now. I'm going to keep trying the body one more time just to make sure I definitely like it. I just got it off the jack stands. As you can see, it's complete rolling chassis already, really. I got to basically mount the wheels, which isn't too big of a deal. Like I say, the back I'm just going to weld. These are the keyed rims, or where they got the 2 sides cut off. I'm not even sure what you'd call that. Slotted rim or something, I guess. But I'll probably take and actually cut that into the axle some, because I want to come back in and match the front width and the back a little bit here, maybe come in just a little bit. So I'll probably just key it a bit instead of cutting it off, and then slide it on a bit more, and then just weld in the back. A couple of tacks should be all it takes, or a couple of good tacks in the back to hold it together. Should be plenty enough, I think. So we'll give that a whirl, and then, like I say, once I shave the front just a little bit, I'll have just enough axle hanging out that I can just put a C-clip on them guys, and I'll just grease them up real good. Those are actually rear rims that are keyed. um, to accept a drive axle, but they just happen to fit on that front axle perfect, so I'm gonna stick with it. Like I say, I'll just keep them greased up and they should be fine. You know, a lot of them are just slip axles anyways. For as far as this thing will ever drive, you know, it's not like it's highway time and you're gonna put 1,000 kilometers on it or nothing like that, right? So should be fine, keep it greased up, but we'll keep tinkering, we'll keep you up. So anyways, it's the end of another night at Tinker. We're getting there. There's one hell of a storm going on outside, so if you see me flinch, it's just that. But here's where we're at. I think it's looking pretty good, actually. I think it's kind of working out a lot better than I thought it was gonna. The motor's fitting in there plenty good. The rear end's on, the front end's done. Like I say, other than attaching the actual wheels, there's nothing left to do there. The steering's just sitting there for now. It's just there for mocking up purposes, but basically all I got to do is affix that shaft. I've decided that this gas tank that's built onto the motor is a little too big where it's sitting. I don't really want it there, and with it there, it's going to be kind of a pain in the ass to fill gas anyways. So I'll probably just buy one of those little vacuum pumps for the gas for the riding more engines. But all the ones I got, I don't think I have any around with one on it. If I do, I'll just scavenge the thing, but if not, then I'll pick one up at the hardware store or whatever, and then I'll just I got a couple of pocket bike gas tanks and that, and I'll stick one underneath the sink or underneath the seat where I can access the fuel tank, the lid, and then they just run the fuel line up, and then that way when I get rid of that gas tank, this steering wheel can actually move quite a bit more forward up into this crotch, into the dashboard there, and then it gives me more room to sit in between, or anybody else that's in there. It gives them more room to sit in between, so it works out for a little better space. But really, it's moving along quite handily. The lawnmower frame that I used, and I kept saying it was an MTD, I lied, it's a Toro. It was a Toro mower. But yeah, so that's the one you seen me tear apart in the other video with my boy. But they say we're pretty much there. We're you know, a lot of finalizing stuff, but the frame's done. There's really nothing left to do to it except for attach the steering linkage and the steering wheel and column, which shouldn't be too big of a deal. Like I say, I'm going to get rid of that gas tank, find a pipe for the bottom. If I get real ambitious, I'll probably try to find something to support up higher at the top too. Once I get everything else finalized and the motor in and everything on and the body on, we'll see what kind of room I got inside the body spacing to put another little bracket to come up and grab, you know, up higher at the neck of this thing, so it's good and strong and I don't have to worry about it breaking off or bending if we're, you know, yanking on it trying to do wheelies and stuff like that. So, but no, it's turning out real good. So we'll fire it down after this video. We'll edit out a whole bunch of boring stuff, but we'll try to knock her down to a few minutes. But yeah, it's turning out even better than I thought it might. So we'll keep you updated.